for the past 5 years actually, and I was working with the product support team. And today's session will be like solely from understanding the use case and orchestrating a complete agentic workflow, including multiple components within the UiPath agentic workflows. And we have Rahul Possibility, a solution engineer, and Bopaya MS, product support engineer, who's my colleague. And they'll be helping here with the sessions with your queries and everything. And without any delay, I would like to start with the use case understanding basically. If everyone is okay, we can just proceed further into that use case scenario and what is this problem and what we are trying to solve, and how complex is the input files, and how we are tackling that problems within the input files, and how to define a reliable agent. That's what we are going to do in a step-by-step manner within this whole workshop basically. And let's start with the problem statement. Basically, what we are trying to achieve here is like whenever there is a claim, an insurance claim or some kind of claim, every company will update their terms and conditions after a specific period of time, and they will update their norms and reimbursement limits, and there will be changes continuously. So every time a change happens, the claim agents who is like evolving the requests from the customers, claim request, has to be updated with those details. What got changed and what is the current customer's criteria? Does he meet the criteria of the claim? And what is his upper limit to get a claim? And what is his lower limits? And those documents will be in a format of a text format or a contract format or an agreement format. And we may have some input data as where internally we may have some structured data. And we are trying to combine all these things and then trying to get a solution from the agent itself on defining whether we are providing a claim or not. Also, in the end, just for the sake of having multiple products to be touched on within this scenario, we have added action center into that so that a human can also be in the loop on as a last step to claim, approve, and reject the whole process of claiming. And this is what we are trying to solve. And what we are doing as a whole workflow with the agentic process is like we'll be getting input files from the orchestrator storage bucket, and we'll be extracting data from the files. And depends on the data which we are extracting, we are um, evaluating it against our input agreements and documents and data related to the decision making. And that we will be doing with the claim agent. And with the extract claim form, that will be an RPA workflow completely created with our cloud studio platform. And we'll be providing that output as an input to an agent. And once the agent receives that input, which is extracted data from the input file, it will process it against the storage bucket, which will be creating it as an index within the orchestrator. And will be in the end, we'll be combining all these details and the explanation from the agent why he took that decision, and then we'll be passing it to the user through an action center so that he can take a action. This is what we are trying to do here within the whole uh, scenario of this use case. And without any further delay, let's get into our cloud platform. And uh, if once everybody is into their cloud platform, there is two prerequisites which we want to do within the admin portal. You can just go to your UiPath menu bar, and then you can just open your admin portal. And once you get into the tenant, go to the services and enable two services. One is like you have to enable the actions, because in the end we'll be giving an action to the user. and we'll be using document understanding to extract the values from the particular input document. These are all the only prerequisite to start up with this particular use case. Like people who didn't enable these services, you can take your time and enable this. Meanwhile, I can just show you the input files and the documents we will be using within this particular use case. And this is the actual input file which we will be using. And if you see here, this is just an image file. It's not an raw PDF or a native PDF format. It's an actually an image which pixels are in this format only. Like it's a very blurry, as you can see. Like you bare minimum you can just read it, just the values. Basically you can't even read the titles and all those stuff. That much of saturated image it is. We'll try to use our product, the document understanding, to extract these values, and we'll make decision out of it. And what we will be getting out of it is like we'll be getting the place of service, which is this number 4, and we'll be extracting this date where they are when they are applying for it, and what is their procedure code, um, and what is the client's name, and what is the claim ID, and along with the amount which they have applied for. These are all the details which we will be extracting. And with the extracted values, first we will be defining whether he's an outpatient or an inpatient. Depends on the ID. In our case, it will be 12, and we'll be defining whether he's an inpatient or outpatient. Depends on that. We have one more input file, and which we will be having two different sheets for inpatient definitions and outpatient definitions, and we'll be providing all these as an index. Also, we have one more file which is a combined policy document, which will have the customer's allowed amount and revenue code and all those other details to check in. Depends on whether he is an inpatient or outpatient. These are all the input files. What I will be doing is like I'll just paste an zip file in the chat. You can download that zip file. It has all these input files, so that we can start up with the touchdown. Uh, is it clear with everybody? So I'll be just putting it into the chat. Once you received it and everybody able to download it, we can just get into the hands-on. And by the way, we can just see what are the tricks and what needs to be taken care and what shouldn't be done. Those things we can take care. Also, I just included one more file into the zip file, which will be agentic claim assistant inputs, which I just created just for the sake of um, uh, uh, like reducing the time which we are working on the project, so that we can just easily create those prompts and those things. And we'll be working on the platform from now on. And once these 3 services are done, you can just close the admin portal, and you can go to the menu bar and then open the studio, and that will be opening the studio here. And when you click on create, it will ask you 4-5 options. One is like an agentic process, which is an orchestration tool for all the below items. Like you can create an agent which will get your input files in any format, and depends on your prompt, it will work on it. And you can create your RPA workflows with the UiPath Studio, and you can create API workflows, and then you can create action apps. These are all the current deployments you can use within our agentic solution platform. And what I will be doing is like I'll be creating a new agentic process, um, and I'll be naming it as like uh, climb demo. So if you see here, this is a BPNM workflow style thing. So you can just drag and drop tasks, and you can do decision makings. You can put a start node, you can put a end node, and you can call a data source. This is exactly like an BPNM uh, process where you'll be creating a diagram for what you will be actually doing and how you want the workflow to be. And there is much more tasks and items to be included in your workflow. and everything will be available here in this more actions button. And the most used will be available here, and you can just search for whatever you want to do here within this particular search bar. So as we discussed in that workflow, first what we will be doing is like we'll be just trying to download the file from our storage bucket. Before that, I'll show you what kind of setup I did it in the orchestrator. I have two different storage buckets. One is like climb assist and one is like climb inputs. You can create these two storage buckets, and within the climb inputs, I have the input PDF form, which we have seen. Not this one, the input form. Yeah, this is the file which I have uploaded into the storage bucket, and our robot will be agentic process will be downloading this file and then it will process it. And there is one more storage bucket which I have created, which is a climb assist, where I have other three files: the rate sheet and the place of service, along with the combined policy document. All the data sheets where we have the data to be used to take the decision. Those we have put it in the storage bucket, and we have created an index for that particular climb assist storage bucket. You can just click on here add index, and you can provide the index name. And once you select this storage bucket, you will be asked to select the storage bucket from your orchestrator, and make sure you are creating all these folders inside a shared drive, because that's where the debugging will be happening. You can easily access the files inside the storage bucket and indexes if all this has been created inside a shared drive. Don't create inside your workspace. Just put it in your shared drive, and there is you have to create two storage buckets, and out of this create a index out of this climb assist storage bucket where that data to be processed against has been uploaded. You can create it, and after you create the index, it will take some time to create the index. And once it is ready, it will show you the status like healthy, and you are good to use this particular index. And this is the step which we have to do within the orchestrator. And let's get into the agentic part. Now
Can
the
I
scenario,
stop you for a minute? Uh,
yeah.
if that is allowed. Uh, so just wanted to know one thing. Like how many storage bucket do we have to create? One I have.
There is two storage buckets. One is for your input files. Where is it?
Okay,
Like you can put that input climb form.pdf inside it.
right.
And one is an climb assist storage bucket where we have the other three files: so the rate sheet, the place of service, and the combined policy document. All these three files has to be put inside this particular storage bucket, and this storage bucket has to be created as an index. Is it clear?
Okay, yeah, yeah, yeah. So got your point.
So is it good to proceed on the next step, or
No,
did
no,
everybody is
yeah,
like,
you can proceed, but please go a little bit slow.
yeah, okay, perfect. Sure, I'll make sure that. So you can create this index, and from here on, we'll be doing the step-by-step process on the agentic part, the workflow side. So once everybody is ready, you can just give a thumbs up over there in the chat. We can just proceed into the agent part. Will it be good, or should I go?
Yeah, I think for me it's okay.
Okay.
Can't we put all the
I-
files into the one single storage bucket instead of creating two?
no, the thing is like because we will be
Different
creating an
index?
index file out of
Okay,
it
okay,
that
got
will be used for the processing of input files. So it needs to be two different storage bucket, one for your input files and one for your actual data sheets.
So when you say index, how can like I'm not getting any option for index in
Yeah,
this
if you
storage
see
bucket.
here, there is an option. called storage bucket. Nearby
Yeah,
there
and
is an
then
option called indexes. Yeah,
so
once you
no, I have created storage bucket, but how can I say it indexed?
yeah, that's what I'm telling. If you see are you able to see my screen, right?
Yeah, I'm on your screen.
Yeah, if you see here, there is a storage bucket, and nearby that there is a icon called indexes. You can
Yes.
click on it, and then you can click on add index. And once
Okay.
you click on add index, you can provide an index name for it. And here it will ask you to select the storage bucket for this particular index to be created.
Okay. So you are into tenant, and I am getting the
Tenant
option
and
of
then
storage
shared
bucket.
folder. There will be an option called shared folder, right? You can go to shared folder.
Okay. So the blunder I did was I created it in workspace. So let me
Got it.
create
That's what I was telling. Like it should not be under the workspace. It should be under your shared drive so that the agents in your debugging state can access it easily.
one more question. So two services I have enabled. Uh, so you said we have to enable three services, if I'm not wrong.
There is only two services. One is like the orchestrator will be enabled by default. I can just
Yeah.
open it for you once again. If I go to the tenant and services, orchestrator will be enabled by default.
Mm-hmm.
Also, Mastro will be enabled. If it is not, you can enable it. These are all the four things: orchestrator, actions, Mastro, and document understanding.
So the point is orchestrator and okay.
You can
So
just click on
yeah,
any of
Maestro
these
is also
services.
there. Yeah, it's
Yeah.
there.
Like, you can click on this option and you will get an option to enable it. That's how you can enable it. You have to enable document understanding also along with the actions.
Got you. We are good.
Perfect. Does anybody have any other queries
Cricket, I
before
have a
starting?
question here.
Yeah, please go
While
ahead.
while we are creating the indexing, which storage bucket we have to select? That will be
You have
assist,
to
right?
select that storage bucket where you have the other three files, where the
Okay.
rate of sheet and place of service and combined policy document files has been created
Yeah.
as a storage bucket. That has to be selected.
Yeah. Got it.
Yeah. So also you will have options here for basic and advanced. And advanced is actually uh, enterprise a feature. So you will not be able to get it, but still with the basic we can do it basically. And with the indexing, there is an option called ingestion, which is like after a specific period of time, you want to re-inject the data. Say, for example, your policy document got changed. You can do that also automatically. You can just enable this and then you can re-inject the data once again. Like it will be repopulating the index with the new files. So if you want that option to be enabled, that is also there in the under the section and schedule ingestion. But for now, we'll be disabling it. And in this screen, the only thing we'll be doing is like providing the index name and choose the storage bucket, which has those three files.
Okay, good.
Okay,
So
perfect.
I'm all set. I have two indexes, two storage buckets created.
Not two indexes need not to be created because
Okay.
index is just like you will be converting your file into a RAG format so that your agent can understand it. Your
Right.
input files need not to be converted into an index. Like the actual form where the user's details are there, that
Uh,
need not to be converted into an index. Indexing is the sole purpose of indexing is to be used inside an agent for the analysis. If you are not doing it, you need not to create an index. That's why I just created one index just for that particular storage bucket where we have three files, which has those
okay.
rate sheet and place of service. Is it clear?
Got you.
Okay, perfect.
Once I create an index, when it will be ingested?
It will take max 1 to 2 minutes. You will get a score like healthy, and that means it's ready basically.
So for example, if I keep on adding documents, for example, like on a daily basis, I keep on adding or updating my document. So I need
Mm-hmm.
to schedule it in that case, right? To update
Exactly.
my
Yeah,
index.
yeah, yeah.
Okay,
Yeah,
got it.
exactly. That's what I have shown here in the
Yeah,
scheduling
got it.
section. If you
Scheduling
see
part.
here,
Got it.
yeah.
Yeah.
In the end of the day, whenever you are uploading your file and you want the ingestion to be done again, You can schedule it end of the day also. You can do it. You can just enable it and provide the time zone and the frequency, and you can provide the time also. Exactly at the point it will do the ingestion, and then it will make the model ready for it to be used inside the agents. Is it clear?
Got it. Thanks.
Okay, perfect. No problem. So all set. Can we proceed on to the agentic part?
Yes, Brickwood. I think with the interest of time, I would recommend team to post your queries on the Zoom chat. So meanwhile, we'll get those queries addressed.
Yeah, sure. Like, guys, if you have any queries, feel free to put it in the Zoom chat. Bob and Rahul will be helping you over in the chat also. And if it is something regarding your, like, how to do this step, that step, just you can just post it here. I can answer it and show you a step or something. So, proceeding, I think everybody is onto the success state of this until the indexing part. Is it good? Yeah, I can see here there is an query on storage. Can we use other storage options? Yes, you can. If you go to the indexing option while you are creating it itself, you will get an option called connector. Once you create it, you can just have any connection, like integration connection, whatever you are creating. That source can be included directly into your indexing part. You need not to be always a storage bucket. You can have a connector created as an integration connection, and then you can call that using the connector option. And let's proceed on to the agentic part. As I shown in the workflow, the first thing will be we'll be downloading that input file, which we saved in that storage bucket, and we will be using document understanding to get the output files, and we will be seeing the extracted outputs in the log message. That's what we will do in the RPA workflow. And then we'll be creating an agent, and then we'll be creating a form, and then along with all the three, we'll be creating this particular orchestration within the agentic process. That's what we are going to do. Let's open the agentic workspace. So what I'll be doing here is like, you can just, once you go to the studio part, you'll get an option to create. You can click on this drop down and you can create an agentic process. So as I have created now, I'll be just opening that. And I named my agentic process as climb demo. And the first thing I'll be creating is an RPA workflow. So I'll be just creating an RPA workflow, and I'll mention it as like download input file. So once I created it, it will create an main.xaml file. And here we'll be doing the actual process, actual creation of downloading and then extracting the data. And on the left-hand side, if you see here, this is the Explorer. All the things which you will be creating under this solution will be available here. It's like kind of like where in the studio you will have all your XAML files. If it is a test project, you'll have the test cases also. This is like kind of that screen. We call it as an Explorer, where you have all your each and every individual process has been mentioned here. And the second one is called Data Manager. This is like an variables panel where we will have input arguments and output arguments as well as variables and entities. And this is for your issues panel, where it will show if there is an issue within your workflow or your sequence, it will show it here. And this is for your change history, whatever the change, like once you publish a particular version, and if you are making a change, that will be tracked here. And this is for your deployment configuration, like when you deploy it, what are all the solutions you have and what you want to deploy during a deployment, that you can set it up here. Let's just start with the XAML file first. And first activity, what we will be doing is like, we'll be downloading that file from the storage bucket. And one thing is like, as all these things are running in an machine, serverless machine, it will not be downloaded in your local machine. The executions will also happen in the serverless machine. If you download a file, that will also get downloaded in a serverless machine. Once the execution done, it will clear up that serverless machine. That we have set it up in our environment. So even if I use a download activity, it doesn't mean like I'm downloading the file to my local. It is like for the workflow, I'm downloading and giving it to the serverless machine. What I'll be doing is like download storage file. This will allow me to download that particular file, and I'll choose that storage bucket. The storage bucket name is like climb inputs, because I have that PDF input PDF file where it has the customer's data inside this climb inputs. So I'm trying to download that. So what is the file name? I have to provide it here. This is the file name, input climb form.pdf. So I'll be putting it as same as a not double quote. Okay. So once I provided these two inputs, an output file and an output format is by default will be created. If you see here, if I expand this show additional properties, you will get an option file, and that is an output, and that variable is already being created, and the data type is like local source. So this has been automatically taken care by our studio platform. And if you want to file name and location, and if you want to have a timeout period for downloading that file, you can just have those values as well. And once we have this file and the activity created, if I go to data manager, we will be able to see the next file. Let's use the extract data activity, and then you'll be able to see the extract document data. Yeah, this is, if you see here, this is a document understanding activity. This is why we have enabled the document understanding service within our tenant under the admin panel. So once we clicked on it, it will load up the activity. And once I click on the input, it will automatically show me the file, which is the actual output of the storage download storage file activity. We didn't created it. It automatically creates once you pull down that particular activity, and it will automatically show you for the next activities in place within your studio. So we'll be clicking on the file activity, and once it is done, you have to choose the document understanding project. And what we will be doing here is like there is two different types. One is like predefined, one is generative, and this is like an model which I have created just for the testing purpose. So if you choose a predefined, you will get options like predefined extractors like invoices, invoice India, like different types of predefined models. You can choose any one of it, which is a predefined model. But what we will be doing is like, as we have a different format like than a normal one, we'll be using it as an generative predefined. And we'll be choosing the extractor type. There will be three extractor types basically. One is like long document simple layout extractor, and long document complex layout extractor, and short document complex layout extractor. So we'll be choosing the short document complex layout extractor. And then we have option for creating our fields. What are all the fields which we want to derive from the document, and what are all the names for that particular field to be used within our workflow. That has to be defined within our document type details. And there is other input properties also. You can go through this, like there is multiple options, like we want to change the design time external connection, means like during design time we want to have an external connection, and during runtime we want to have a separate external connection. That can be done within the activity itself. And let me add additional properties, and let's create the fields which we want to extract. So what we have here is like we have to provide the field name, and we have to provide it as an instruction. It's like just like an agent. The extraction is also we can do the extraction just by instructing it. We need not to indicate that particular part like how we do with our document understanding activities, right? We'll be just classifying, and then we'll be digitizing the document, and then we'll be providing the form extraction. Everything we will be doing within the studio if we are using the on-prem studio, which you'll be using in your machine, installed in your machine. If it is cloud, it is all like instructions. You'll be providing the field name and what is the instruction to derive that field. That is what we have to create here. And for the sake of doing it, I just created this inputs document. You can have this open here. I have all those fields which I want to get, and what are all the description which I want to give for that particular field to be extracted. I just have all these things mentioned here within my Word file. So let's create the fields one by one. The first field is like diagnostic. You can also do it side by side on your machine. The first field is like just open that input file, and under the DU activity section, you'll be having 5 to 6 things to be derived, and what are all the instructions to be passed for that. I just pasted everything within the input file docs. You can just use it, make use of it. Let's so this is the first field. Once I created it, I can click on add, and it will create a new field for me. And likewise, I'll be creating all 5 fields.
Can you paste the field names in the chat, please?
Yeah, I can do it. Did you receive that zip file? It's in the chat itself, basically. If you join late, I can just put it again.
No,
Will it be fine?
we have the zip files.
Okay, yeah. Within the zip file, if you extract it, you'll have the file name called as agentic climb assistant input dot docs.
I have it in front of me.
Perfect. So there, if you open it under the DU activity, you'll have all these fields, diagnostic codes, and what is the value to be pasted for that particular instruction.
Okay. So you mean to say 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 variables we have to create,
Exactly.
and so instructions we have to put it in the instruction field.
Exactly. You're right.
Okay. Thank you.
No problem. So I'll be also doing side by side. So if you see the instructions, these are all like simple natural language instructions, like extract all diagnostic codes and return the code exactly as shown in the document. Like this is how we are instructing the DU activity to give us how the data needs to be retrieved and how we want the data to be back to us. So for each and every field, we'll be adding like this, and let me complete for the next ones. We'll be good to
Sorry to interrupt here. I have
yeah,
one.
no problem.
So that download storage file, right? So is that
Yeah.
possible to download that file in locally, or otherwise that cloudless machine is must important to run for this whole over Mastro or
Yeah, Mastro can only be executed inside a serverless machine. You cannot execute in your local machine.
okay,
Yeah.
good. That's a specific in agent also. Agent also run in the cloudless machine.
Yeah. Both agent as well as all the things which you are developing within our agentic solution, Mastro solutions, right? Those are all serverless executions.
Okay,
It
so
need not to be you need not to have a separate robot machine, and you need not to manage all those things. Once you create a workflow, any RPA workflow, or you can have an agent, or you can have an apps, or you can have other API workflows, everything will be executed under a serverless machines, basically.
got it. Something we want to go for some VM machine mean, is that possible? Because that's
No, not as of now, basically. This
okay.
is a cloud features, right? So
Yes. Okay.
if you want to install it, the only option is using our UiPath Studio installer. So assistant and robots basically.
That means the private machine you are talking about?
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. It can only be executed in that way. So once you
sorry, I have a question.
yeah, please go ahead.
So is it an additional offering by UiPath? So apart from the licenses that the enterprise has, so serverless robot is an additional offering, is
Yeah,
it?
this is like that depends basically. I'm not sure about the licensing terms, but what we are doing is like there is something called AA units, which is specifically for agentic purposes basically. So if you have that
Okay.
licenses, you can execute all these things.
Okay. You need agent units, is it?
Yeah,
Or
AA units, AA
AI
units, not
units. Okay.
agent units.
Okay. Thank you.
Yeah, thank you.
And I
So once you saved all those 6 fields, you'll get an information like 6 items in collection. You'll get an option like this. And if you go to the additional properties and check the output format will be a data source, and the name of that output will be document data. And all the data which we are extracting using this extract data will be under this particular document data. And to get that particular document data, what we will be doing is like we'll convert that into a text, and then we can have this seen in a log message or something. For this, you can have an VB expression. I'll go to my if you click here set value, you can pull up this assign value activity, and you can have this expression editor. Go to expression editor, and here what we will be doing is like we'll be putting all the data fields which is extracted using this document data document understanding activity into a message format, into a text format, so that we can read it. So the expression need to be pasted was also available within the docs. Under the assign section, you can see something called VB expressions. You can copy that and paste it. And if you see here, this is how you can get the data out of the document data variable. You see here, like there is document data dot insurer ID dot value. If you use this particular function and methods, you'll be able to get each and every value. So what I'm doing here is like I'm creating it as a string, and I'm just providing it as in a format like insurer ID colon, and then the insurer ID value, which is extracted, and then the patient name, and then the patient name value. Same as for the data of service, and the place of service, and then the procedure code. This is how we'll be extracting and putting it into a variable. And I'll click on save. Once I click on save, I want to pass this particular input, which output in as an input to the next agent. Now we are creating an RPA workflow and extracting the data, and this output will be used as an input for your agent. For that, if you go to value required for this activity, 2 was not supplied. Let's go to here. So as I shown previously, this is an issues panel. Like if there is any issue within your workflow, it will be showing up here. You see here value for required activity argument 2 was not supplied. So this value we did not create it so far, and we didn't provide it. So that's where it will show you your errors real time. It need not to be debugged basically. Like how in your studio, if you didn't provide any mandatory field, it will show you the error, right? Same way, you can see the warnings in this issue panel section. So what I'll be doing, I'll go to this data manager section. Now you can see all the input variables and arguments and everything present in this workflow here. If you see here, there is a document data variable, which is an output of this extract document data. And there is a file variable, which is an output of this download storage file activity. Those are already present. And we want to put this as an output out of this workflow so that we can use it in our agent in the later part when we are doing the complete agentic orchestration. So what I'll be doing, I'll be creating an output variable, and I will call this as like extracted value, and then I'll mark it as direction as out, and then the argument type I'm keeping it as text, and I'll put that variable here, extracted values. So the complete document data has been converted into a string, and it has been saved in the extracted values variable, output variable. So for seeing this particular output, we'll be putting a log message, and then we'll use that same variable, extracted values. And I'll choose the log level as info. And this is it with the RPA workflow. We'll be downloading the storage bucket file, and we'll be extracting the data, those 6 fields, from the particular PDF file, and we'll be converting that into a string. The main reason why we are converting it into a string is like when we are passing any input to the agent in a input format, if that follows a JSON format or a CSV format, the reliability of the processing will be much more reliable. It will be increased basically if you use the inputs in a format, like instead of having a complete table or just passing this document data into an agent. If you have any input, you can convert it into a string, and then you can pass it in a CSV format, in a comma separated value, or some format. Some format where the machine can easily read it and understands it. So that's why, for the purpose of that, we have converted this document data into a string, and we are putting it as an output argument from this workflow, and we are having this log message. So let's execute and check what is the output. And while we are executing, it will ask us for the solutions, like what is the storage bucket. We are using a storage bucket, and debug. If you want to right away change any other storage bucket while doing debugging, you can right away change this here. You can just cancel this and use a new one. Yeah.
Just one question. Please,
Yes,
like
Naren.
one before log message, one where you added
Assign
VB
activities.
script and so that can you explain once, please?
Yeah, sure. If you see here, what we are doing is like we are converting that document data variable into a string. So how we are doing it is like this is a string.join function, and we are having a new line. After that, we are having this ensure ID
No,
number.
sorry. I will read this script by myself, but where can I get this script and where can I get this activity?
Yeah, it's everything. What I'm pasting here is like it's in the same docs, input docs. You can just scroll it down. There is a section called assign. Under you will be seeing an option, a subsection called VB expressions.
Okay. Can you show it once?
Yeah. Yeah, this is it.
Okay. Now I got it. And the activity I will activity name, please.
It's an assign activity. So we are
Okay.
converting this into a string.
Okay. Got it.
Yeah.
Thank you.
No problem.
I
So
have one question. Sorry to stop. Yeah.
no problems. No problems.
What all are the file will go in the storage bucket? Can you just repeat that step by bit?
Yeah, no problems. No problems. If you go to the storage bucket, there is 2 storage buckets which we are having. One storage bucket will have rate sheet, place of service, and combined policy document.
So that is inside claim underscore asset. Okay, assist. Okay.
Yeah, under claim inputs, we have only one file, which is that input document where we have the customer's data and the insurance document.
Okay.
So every time we need to load the input documents into the storage bucket, right?
Yeah. What we have created as an use case is like if once a new claim happens, the system will upload it to the storage bucket using an API. And we are starting the workflow from that point of downloading from the storage bucket.
Okay, that is also automated. Okay.
Yeah.
So is that any possible to just we have created the RPA workflow, right? Is that any possible to exception handling as well in that same place or?
Yeah, exception handling is also there basically. It's same as how you will do your
Traditional.
normal traditional way. All the activities are there. You can just go through it. You can just have a try catch. It will have try catch. All the activities, all the basic core activities of UiPath are also there. and other integration service and API based operations also. All the control structures like if statement, while, do while, everything is there. For each, every other control mechanisms are there.
Okay, thanks
Yeah,
for that.
no problem.
Then why we want to choose for the studio here? So we can use for the traditional way as well, right? For the cost perspective as well.
Yeah, it's a cost perspective. If you are already having the studio part, you can still have it. You can still have all these things processed with the document understanding. But what we are trying to achieve here within this use case is like trying to understand how much potential the studio, cloud studio and agent and all our other platform has been integrated together into a single solution. That's why we took
That's a
this as
long
a
way.
scenario to be developed using the RPA workflow method.
Okay, got it.
You
Nice.
can do the same thing with the traditional method. As I mentioned earlier, if you want to use this document data kind of thing, then you have to go with the document understanding packages, and then you have to do your 4 5 activities to first derive your application and convert it into data and then extract it, and you have to
Anyway,
create your templates.
yes. Anyway, the document understanding we need a training, right? Suppose that I have a different document rather than invoice process, I need to train the document as well and get the package. This publish the
Yeah,
document.
you can have that as your own predefined document understanding model as I created. You can
Okay.
include that model also inside our web.
Okay. Nice answer. Thanks a lot.
Yeah, no problem. So once this has been done, we can check the executions. Click on.
Prakrit, I have a question here.
Yes, Manish.
Let's say I have created a flow in the Studio desktop. So can I invoke that flow to here, like
Uh,
importing?
Yeah, you can import it, but that depends. Like if you are having UI automation based activities, that cannot be converted directly into a web based activity.
No,
So
no,
Web
no. I
Studio,
just
Web Stream,
whatever the flow that you have done here, I'll do it in the Studio desktop.
yeah,
So
you
is
can
there
do
any
it. You can
possibility to
import.
import that?
You can import it, but the problem here is like the extract document data activity won't be there in your studio when
Yeah,
you
yes,
import.
yes.
Yeah. So that's what I'm telling. There is different activities compatibility are there. If there is no compatibility issues and you are having your basic core activities and you are playing and created in the traditional studio, you can pull it here and then you can export it from here and then put it to your studio. That is possible.
Yeah, okay. Thank you for the
No,
information.
no problem.
And one
Just one
question.
thing, just one
Yeah.
thing. So at the start in download storage file action, file path, have you specified anything?
No.
So it is
I didn't
saying,
mention.
it is giving me error that it is mandatory field.
No,
But like
file
value
location
for,
is not a mandatory
like
method
it is
basically.
star mark. That's the reason I was. That's this one. Input claims form.pdf. This you have given, right?
This one has to be provided. File path has to be provided. File name has not to be provided.
File path only I was saying. So
Yeah,
I just have to copy the name and
path.
paste it
Yeah,
in the
name
double
of that
quotes.
particular input file, input claim form.pdf, and you have to paste it over there.
Okay. Just one more, one last thing. Go down, please. That variable, extracted values. What should be
Hmm.
the data type of that variable?
That's an output argument. If you see here, I
Ah,
created
ah, ah,
in the data manager, I created an output argument, and the
ah.
data type is like text.
Text. Okay. Thank you.
So
Yeah.
I have one question. So that extract document data part of which package if I will going to implement that in my local studio?
That will be document understanding packages.
Document understanding. Okay, no problem.
Yeah.
So would you recommend any compatible versions for 24.10.12 studio?
Yeah, I'm not sure on that. We may have to check on the docs basically for that.
Okay, no problem.
Yeah,
Yeah.
sure.
Thank you.
No problem. So if all these things are done, we'll be able to see the output basically. Let me see the output, save and debug. And there is two more options here, deploy resources before debugging. This will, if you disable this will faster your debugging, means it won't debug the things which it already debugged basically. This is like you want to you didn't make much changes in your data or something, then you can disable it. But sometimes if you disable it and if you make changes and you forgot you disabled this one, your changes may not get into effect. So always have this deploy resource before debugging as enabled. And if you disable this window, the next time when you start a debug, this window won't be open. That's for this particular toggle. So I'll just click on save and debug. And once you see here, we can see the run output part where we'll be seeing what is exactly happening as how we will be seeing in our UiPath Studio platforms. What is exactly happening at this point and what is the output of it will also be displayed in this output panel. So now if you see here, it went into the download input file and it completed. And now it is using the extract document data to extract the data from the particular file, and the workflow is done. And these are all the values which it copied. Let's open our input file and let's compare the values. Yeah, the insurer number has been derived. And then, yeah, 10468G2 that has been mentioned there. 11 MIC has been derived. Then the date 5/01/2023 also has been recorded. And place of service, which is 12, has also been recorded. Also, there is a procedure code, which is 99601 and 99602. There is two values. So it recorded those two values and it put it in a comma separated value. This is what we did with the RPA workflow. Is it clear? Did anybody have any other doubts or any other queries on this RPA workflow part?
Sorry to interrupt,
Yeah, Chaya.
Prakriti. Yeah, nice to have this demo and it's great. But we have an updated feature with just extracting with just a prompt, saying the user prompt and the system prompt with uploading the files in a storage bucket, right? Instead of going with RPA workflow, we could have gone with prompting also, right?
Yeah, we could have done it, but like with the system prompt and user prompt, you can get the data out of it, like how we are doing with the normal agents, like how we have pasted those 3 files within the assist, right? It can read this file and it can take data from it. But what we are trying to achieve here is like we are trying to extract data from a PDF file, which is actually an image.
Yes.
So that image has to be converted and then it has to be OCR'd and then it has to be getting the data. So giving that part to the agent may prone to some problems. Maybe like if some values got changed, we may not have any other options to track it down within the agent. So that's why also why we picked up this scenario is just to have that feel of combining all the different components of UiPath and then creating it as a workflow. Otherwise, we could have made this also into an storage bucket and asked the agent to read it. That is also possible. But just to showcase the combination between these products, we have created this use case just for the sake of use case.
The agent and the RPA workflow together with in the studio web. You want
Yeah,
to
within the studio itself, in the end, what we will be doing, we will be combining this RPA workflow along with an agent, along with the form, an action form. We'll be combining all these things into a single orchestration process, and we'll be finishing our workflow. That's what we will be doing here.
So this document understanding we have now with the unstructured document also can be fetched on the record. So in that same workflow.
Yeah, we can. You just have to choose the model which you want to do. As I mentioned earlier, there is predefined models. Also, there is generative models. This is for custom extracts, basically.
Okay.
One question
if possible, can you show that RPA workflow once?
Which workflow?
This document understanding workflow, RPA workflow.
This is what we are talking like.
There's just one activity.
This one. Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
So, Pragvit, my question is, the first
Yes,
which
Mohit.
you mentioned that we can do it directly with the with the agent, right? There also we have to use this workflow as a tool, right? We have to call
Yeah,
it
yeah,
as a
yeah. We
tool,
have to. We have to.
right? Because
Yeah,
there's
yeah,
no
yeah.
other, because the document
It
understanding is not included in the agent
agent.
builder,
No, no,
right?
no. It
So
cannot be.
yeah,
It cannot be.
exactly, exactly. Either do this or call it from the agent as a tool, so that we
Yeah,
have the
you
values
can
as
have
the
an
string or
RPA
the
workflow
JSON.
process.
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
Yeah, within
Correct,
your
correct.
studio, you can create a RPA workflow process. You can call that as a tool within your agent.
Right, right. Yeah. Thank you. Yeah.
Yeah. So once this RPA workflow is done, we can proceed on creating the agent basically. So there is two different things. One is like agentic process, which is an BPNM process, and one is agent. There is two things. If you see here, one is agentic process and one is agent. So we'll be proceeding to the agent where the actual decision making will be will be carrying out by our user prompts and the system prompt, and we'll be providing our index which we have created for those three files, and we'll be providing that as an input to the agent, and the agent will take decision with the input files which we have collected using the RPA workflow. So for that, I just created an agent, and when I click on definition, it will load up this particular screen. With the agent, there is two different types of agent. One is autonomous agent and one is conversational agent. Conversational agent is like you can load your agent with your storage bucket or anything. But conversational agent is like an chatbot which you can deploy in anywhere. Like you can integrate it with Slack, you can integrate it with Teams, you can integrate with multiple, even as an iframe within your own website itself, and you can power up the agent with your whatever the document you are having in your organization. That is conversational agent. But for this use case, we took the autonomous agent. It is like it will not have you a chat based thing, but whatever the input we are giving depends on our prompt, it will process it and it will give us the output. So what we are doing here is like I'll be creating an autonomous agent and I'll be clicking on start fresh. You can even have that copilot. I can show it again. If I create a new agent here, once I click on definition, one. So you'll have an option to derive your agent directly from the autopilot itself. I can just mention be an assistant agent for my employees check-in, something like that. If I just click on generate, it will create a system prompt and it will create its own user prompt just as a template for you to start up your agentic automation basically. So it will ask you certain questions like how you want to do it, what you want to exactly do, and if you provide all those details, it will give you suggestions like this. Like if I click on review suggestion, it will put up the system prompt like this. So as I have just mentioned, like for a check-in for the employees, it mentioned that particular prompt already, system prompt it already created. So likewise, you can use this right side option autopilot for any of your prompt improvisation, or you want to change something, you can just ask it here. Like say for example, if I want to change something within this, once I accepted it, if I ask it like your goal is to facilitate open communication and collect valuable insights, I want to change this part, I can ask it like I want to change this part and do some other operation. If I put it, then it will create a new prompt and then I can paste it and then check it. So autopilot is like a tool which can help you to uh, 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 create this agent in an easier way. So you can have this as a assistive tool to create your agent right from the scratch. If you are starting any project right from the scratch, you make use of this particular autopilot method. So getting back to our agent, which we have created, there is a system agent and user agent, and there is context. So here we'll be adding our context. And if you see here, it automatically bring up the context which I have created, which is an index, which we have earlier created in the orchestrator. With the same name, it will show you. Index is like claim underscore assistant. The same thing has been shown, and under which folder it will show you that information also. You can choose that as a context for your part agent, and you can add other tools as we discussed earlier. You can have any RPA workflow also. You can add that as a tool, RPA workflow, API workflow, agent, any specific activity or built-in tools, or you can have a web reader. Like say, for example, you want to have summarize a particular web page, you can have web summary. Those kind of tools can be used, and you can use that, add that as a tool here, and then you can make use of it inside your user prompt. So within the user prompt, you can mention, summarize the particular content using this particular tool, web summary tool. If you mention that, within the processing, it will try to use that tool to summarize that particular content, and then it will give it to you in a format which you are requesting. So for this particular agent, I have the system prompt and the user prompt mentioned in the docs. You can just copy it. We can just have that conversation on what we have created as a agent and prompt, and why we are having it, and what are all the mandatory prompts and what can be skipped. Mm, that and all we can discuss it after I'm pasting it here, the system prompt. And
Is that any limitation of the words in the system prompt?
no, there is no such limitation as far as I know, basically.
Okay, so the words are considered as a tokens, right? So
Yeah.
so it also considered for the platform unit, I meant to say. That means
Did I get you?
it also considered as the platform unit. Suppose a platform unit considered $0.14. Suppose I have used max number of tokens, so it will
Yeah,
be
that can be defined here. If you see here, the licensing consumption is solely depends on this max token per response. So if you increase the max token per response, the licensing is based on the response, not on your inputs and your prompts, basically.
okay. Okay, got it.
The license is for the response. Like
Yes.
if you got more response with more tokens, then it may consume like extra unit, basically.
So we need to consider that token. So how we can utilize for that. So
Exactly. Yeah.
okay, that's iteration means it's a loop. Max
Yes.
iteration.
Yeah. Also, you can set up guardrails. Means like if you want to uh, if you want to stop your robot from looking into other information, say for example, you are just looking into a specific portion of your data, and you want to make your robot not to use that particular data, you can have that mentioned in the guardrails. But guardrails is currently not entitled with the community versions. You may not be able to access it, but with the enterprise, you will be able to access it. And
Okay.
if you see here, let's go through the system prompt and user prompt which we have created. And
Very quick, sorry to interrupt you at the
yes,
meeting.
Mahesh.
These guardrails are used we have this hallucination, right?
Yeah,
For that,
you can stop it. You can
okay,
stop hallucinations by stopping the other data to be included while deriving the solutions and getting into a conclusion.
okay. For decreasing the hallucinations, we can use that guardrails.
Yeah.
Yeah, thanks.
Okay. So with the system prompt and user prompt, uh, we have mentioned these details, and let's go through the major things. Like what we are doing is like extract the key information from the provided document underscore data. What are all the informations we are having here? We mentioned it here. Also, what we have mentioned is like classify the medical service as inpatient and outpatient, depends on the claim assistant, which is then index, which is the index which we are including it here. Also, we mentioned retrieve the corresponding status, whether it is inpatient or outpatient. Depends on that, calculate the allowed amount. And every time if you see here, we are mentioning the context name, like which tool to use while making the decision. If you are mentioning calculating the allowed amount, verify the rate sheet contract, determine and provide the allowed amount based on the contract terms. You have to access claim assistant context, which contains these two files. We clearly mentioned what was the files inside the context and what file has what data and when to use that particular index. That also has to be mentioned within your agent in a clear way, so that it will take all those in a proper way. And what else is there? And everything else is like what we discussed within the use case, like how to derive the conclusion using this particular rate sheet, using the inpatient and outpatient, how to define the effective date, compare the effective date, and make a decision with the information with which section you are making that decision. And it will take up this rate sheet note, and it will define what is the initial value and subsequent value. It will create all those details, and that information we have provided. Also, we have mentioned like what needs to be taken care if something went wrong, like a try catch mechanism. What has to be an error handling mechanism? If you can't find a specific field in the document data, mark it as not found and explain the possible solution. And for patient name and insurer ID, carefully search the information. If not found, indicate as such in the respective output fields. So these kind of prompts, if you add it to your prompt, it will be much more reliable. Also, within our user prompt, we are providing how the system should process the data, like where the data is. Like previously, we'll be mentioning what the agent should do, and here we'll be doing what the data it is processing and how it has to be done. That and all mentioned here in the uh, user prompts. And if you see here, extract the information and then determine if the service is inpatient or outpatient, identify the right rate contract and section number, calculate the allowed amount, and we mentioned how we want the data to be in the end. That also we have mentioned here in the user prompt. Provide your results in the following format. Service location, either it can be inpatient, outpatient, or not found. Or rate contract name, ID, or not found. Same way for each and every input, for all the possible reasons we have provided how we want the data to be. Also, we are having one more thing called explanation, brief explanation of findings of why information could not be determined, which is like if a particular if it is able to find the data, it will give us the explanation where it got the data and how it came to the conclusion. If it is not able to find it, then also it will put that information within the explanation. We are having that as an output here, so that we can have it in the end of the user prompt. So these are all the things with the user prompt and uh, system prompt.
Hey, Pratik,
And yeah, please go ahead.
uh, look, you have created context with workbook, right? So in that we have a sheets within that.
Mm-hmm.
So how the prompt? I mean, our NLP prompt
Yeah, that's
will.
what if you see here, this is how we are prompting to the agent. Classifying medical service as inpatient or outpatient, compare the extracted service code, which is extracted in the claim assistant. Claim assistant is the context. We are just giving it as a prompt and retrieve the corresponding value to determine inpatient or outpatient status. So with this prompt, it can go to the sheet and it can define what is the service code and is it an inpatient or outpatient. You need not to provide us
Mhm.
it as a complex thing. It's just like how you explain it to someone, you can put it as a prompt. But it has to be properly mentioned, like what to use and how to get a conclusion and what has to be done if the data is not found.
So
That are all.
we used workbooks as a climb assistant and the service code as a sheet, right?
Yeah, both are. There is two Excel sheets and one PDF files basically. You see here, rate sheet, place of service, combined policy document. These are all the files which we have created and placed inside that particular index. That it will use because we have mentioned it as a context here. We added that index as a context to this whole agent. So whenever I'm mentioning claim assistant, it will use that index which is added as a context to take a decision.
Okay, got.
So for this particular agent, we have an output content, and we have 5 inputs, which has to be we have one input and we have other inputs in the form of like each and every field, like the extracted ID number and patient and everything. So what I have did is like if you open your input sheet, there is something called data manager. You can see it here. There is something called data manager and outputs. This is an VB expression to create the output variables with the data types. To just reduce down the time of working, I just created this. So what you can do here is like inside your, you can open your data manager and you can click here for the editor and it will open you form like this. You can just paste that particular content. If it is output, just paste the output content. If it is input, just paste the input. There is one more section, input, starts with the parenthesis, ends with the parenthesis. Same thing goes to the output also. So I just pasted it here. And once I click outside, this variables has been created. There is a service location, there is a contract, rate contract, section number, allowed amount, explanation. You can have all these created in a single VB expression. Just copy that outputs and paste it over there in the editor section. You'll get all these things automatically created. The outputs will automatically be created. Also, for this particular input, I have one more VB expression. Yeah, here it is. Just copy it and I'll paste it. And yeah, now if you see here, it has a document data. And now the errors are gone. Previously, if you see here, the document data was in red color because that data variable was never been introduced as a variable. And now we created it as an input variable. It has now been resolved within our sequence.
It is a JSON file, or you mean to say
Yeah,
it's a
it's just a string within the RPA workflow. We have created it as a variable,
JSON,
right?
right? JSON kind of things. You
Yeah,
showed
it's just a comma separated value thing, basically. Yeah, it's kind
okay.
of a JSON. Yeah.
Okay. Could you show me that Word file once again that you copied from the output, right?
Yeah. Yeah. If you see here, it starts from here and
Okay.
then the output ends right here where it says title outputs and a close parenthesis.
Yep. 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 Thanks.
So once this is done, the part with the agent is almost done, basically. And let's create an action app for the particular result to be shown. Just create this new action app. And if I right click on it, there will be I'll just create a blank page for this action app. And it will create a main blank page. So what I'll be doing here is like, I want to paste all these values which the agent derive as an output. As for the agent, we have multiple multiple outputs, right? For the agent, we have 6 outputs, like the insurer ID, service location, and the explanation. All these seven outputs are coming from the agent. I want to showcase this to one user so that he can verify all these things, and then he can either accept or reject the whole scenario of the claim. So for that, what I'll be doing here is like, I'll just right click on the action app, which I have created, and I'll just create a new action. And with the actions, okay. My projects, draft. Let me create an action now. Yeah. So now if you see here, there is an action schema. Once I right click on the new app which I have created, it is like you have to click here on the new, and then you have to create an app, and then right click on this app and then choose the option action. The new action schema will be created. So the new action schema will be created. Here we'll be providing all the inputs and outcomes of this particular app. So there is an easy way to do this basically. I'll just show it. And let me create it. So when you create an action, it will ask you to create the variables on its own, and it asks you to create your own page, action app page. But there is an easier way for using our autopilot. You can just provide what are all the outcomes and what are all the input arguments for that form. You can directly paste that content in just as a text format, and it will generate your own action app page. The HTML page itself will be created just by providing these values. So I'll be creating on generate schema, and it will create a page for the submit button. It will create a page for the approve, reject, as well as it will create a separate for all the input fields basically. So if you see here on pasting it, it created two fields, one for approve and reject, and all these 7 fields for the input properties. I'll be clicking on generate page, and it will automatically generate a action app page.
In the main page itself, you got that autopilot window.
Yeah, where you will get it is like once you right click on this page, right? You can click on action.
Action.
Yeah, then once you click on this action schema, you will get a autopilot page.
Okay.
So if you see here, this whole thing has been created automatically just by those 7 inputs and 2 action items. It created the whole page on its own. Now it is ready to take the inputs, and it is ready to do the action and create an action app directly on your action center. So we have all the 3 components ready. Let's create that orchestration part directly within our agentic process workflow. So I'll be clicking on it, and then I'll be creating a task. The first activity will be downloading and extract the input file. So here, what I'll be calling is the RPA workflow. How I can call an RPA workflow which we have created? This is how the whole orchestration happens. We created a separate RPA workflow. We created a separate agent, and we have an app. We want to combine all these into a single workflow, so that once you start a single workflow, it will try to do all the 3 steps, and by the end you will get an action app created on the action center under your name. That's what we are trying to achieve. So for that, I just clicked here, and then I created a new task, add task, and it will create a task icon like this. And in the action, there is an option called start and wait for an RPA workflow. I'll be clicking on it, and then it will ask me to select the workflow, RPA workflow. Here we have this download input file workflow. So I'll be selecting it, and it will give us that error will be in error, extracted values will be in extracted values. So next thing after this, I'll be having one more task to call the agent.
One second.
Yeah, please. Yeah.
Can you
Go
repeat the
back to
previous step, please?
Go back to work.
Which step?
Yes.
Yeah,
Yes.
download and extract the input file.
Yeah, if
So
you see
this
here,
extraction data is the output variable in the RPA workflow, right?
exactly. Yeah.
Okay.
And how you create this task, let me delete it once again, and then I can show you once again. So click on this start event, and you'll be seeing an option called add task on the top. You can click on it, and you can name whatever it is, like download and extract. And in the right hand side, you can see an option called action. Now, whatever action we want to do here, we can do it here. We have app task, RPA workflow, agent. You can start a queue, create a queue item, wait for a queue item. You can execute a connector. You can execute a script. Those are all the things. But now we'll be calling an RPA workflow, and we'll be choosing the RPA workflow from the list, which is the download input file. Once you choose it, it will load up. If there is any input for this particular workflow, it will showcase it here. If there is outputs, it will showcase it here. So right after this RPA workflow, we want to input this extracted value as an input to the agent which we have created. For that, again, one more task. We'll be calling it as calling agent. And then under the action, we'll be providing start and wait for agent. We'll be clicking on it. And under the agent section, it will showcase the agent. For in our project, we just use the agent as agent, right? So I'll be choosing that one. Automatically, it will showcase you all the inputs and outputs. The output has been automatically generated, but there is an input which is needed for this particular agent because we have created it as an input. So what we have to provide as an input? An output from the previous activity, right? Which is an extracted value. The RPA workflow activity output we are providing as an input to this agent. So once I provided it, this will be done, and the agent will be called right after the RPA workflow. So right after the RPA workflow, we want to call the action app to be created for the user to validate. So I'll be creating one more task, and here I'll mention this app action. And then here in the action, I'll mention it as app task, create action app task. So what is the app? There is only one app which I have created. I'll be calling that same app. Once I choose in it, there is task title which you have to provide. I'll mention it as extracted values validation. So I'll be providing the task title as extracted value validation. And here we have the inputs, which is an actual output from the agent. So I'll be choosing the patient name. We have autopilot, which already chosen what could be the possible input for this. We'll be choosing that autopilot's recommendation, insurer ID number, which it is automatically taking from the agent. If you scroll down, you can manually choose that also. If you go ahead, you can see calling agent, and you can see all other variables, same variables, and our autopilot is automatically picking up and giving us the suggestion because the same name matches service location, and here also it's a service location. Same thing for the section number also, and for the allowed number also, and for the explanation. And once these three tasks are done, there will be an action taken, action item created in my action center, and I'll be doing action after this. And once your whole sequence is done, you should end it with the end event. So I'll be choosing the end event, and I'll call it as end event. So the whole orchestration of how we created an agent and agentic process, we created an RPA workflow first, and then we created an agent, and we created an app. To complete the workflow, we are downloading with the XAML file. We're downloading the file, extracting using the document data activity, and then getting that as a string format as an output from the RPA workflow. Next, within the definition, we are using that as an input argument for the agent. The input argument is document data, and we have 7 other fields which we are getting as an output from the agent. And within the agent, we have added the context which we have created within the orchestrator. And these are all the things which we have done within the agent part.
1 second.
Yeah, please.
So this output variables which you have kept in user prompt, right?
No, yeah, we have mentioned it here in the user prompt also, but you have to create these variables manually. For that, I have that script. Like if you click here in the
Yeah.
editor, yeah.
But where you refer these output variables in prompt?
Yeah,
Here.
within the agent prompt itself, like within the user prompt, if you see here, provide your results in the following format: service location, rate contract, section number, allowed amount, patient name, insurer ID, and explanation.
So if I execute up to agent, I will get this output as a JSON format. Huh?
Yeah, in a text format, basically. I can show you that output, how it will be while during the execution, we can see that, yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. So after this agent gives us those outputs, we are passing that to the action app form, and it will be showing us this form will be created in our action app as an action item, so that the user can either approve or decline the hold request. So this is the whole workflow which we have created. Let me go to the agentic process, and then let's start the debug. For that, let me check this action app. And if you expand the additional properties, you'll be having options to set the priority for this particular app action app task to be created. And you can directly set an assignee. If you want to directly assign it to someone in your action center, you can directly assign it right from the calling state itself. While creating the app task itself, you can provide all these values and it will be created under that respective user. So let's start and check the workflow. So once we click on debug, it will ask us to confirm the things. We have 2 resources being used. One is claim input, which is a storage bucket, which is an input for the RPA workflow. And one is context, which is the index which we have created. If you want to change it dynamically, you can change it and execute and check the behaviors with multiple input files and multiple things with the same agent. So I'll be clicking on save and execute. And the output panel will be automatically open, and it will show us the execution one by one. Let's see.
And meanwhile, here is any exception handling method here as well? There is any error boundary or
Yeah, but because when we call this, we have in the agent itself, we mentioned our exception handling mechanism, what needs to be taken care when the value is not there. We have mentioned those things inside the agent. Also, within our RPA workflow, we can implement the try catch mechanism and our exception handling. Here also, you can have the workflow the same way as your BPNM process. All the workflow, decision making, everything is possible here in this workflow itself.
Okay,
so
great.
if you see here now, the RPA workflow got executed, and we click on that download and the extract task, you'll be able to see the job. You can just click on it and it will open the job detail directly on the orchestrator, and you can see the variable inputs and outputs. For this activity, there is only, this is the particular output. If I hover over it, this is the output, ensure ID, and the value output variable is extracted value. And this is the output. And if I go to the calling agent, we can see here the values and the decision taken by the agent. The execution already done. Like within like 20-25 seconds, the whole execution is done. And if you see, click on details, it will show you that particular job also. And if I go here, this is that particular job execution. It has been executed. And if you see here, what is that? Let me clear up the filter. Okay, as it is. So it is reset to default. Okay. Okay, it will be available when it is executing it, because we are just running it through the debugging mode.
We are
I think
not
that was the
publishing,
only
right?
topic I wanted to discuss. But
Guys, am I audible?
Yes,
Yeah.
We have not yet deployed, right? It as a solution. That's why
Exactly.
we're
Yeah.
not
Yeah.
discussing.
Exactly. If it is, but when we are executing, if you open the jobs panel, you'll be able to see one option called serverless, and it will show you as debug mode. From
Right.
Studio, it will mention.
Right.
But if it is published, you will be able to see it as a job. So now if we see the agent call, as you asked, this is how the output will be. If you see here, these are all separate arguments, and this has been created as an argument itself. And you can see here, this is the input argument which we taken from the RPA workflow and passing it to the agent. And initial allowed amount, it already defined. Initial amount is this one, and subsequent amount is this one. And it gave us the explanation also. The place of service code is 12, corresponds to outpatient service. The procedure codes are 9601 and 02, matches the home infusion therapy. A section in the rate sheet which allowed amount specified for initial and subsequent evaluation. Diagnosis code was not provided in the document data. So what and all is available and what and all is not available, and how it is taking that particular decision, it will mention it in the explanation, because we have defined it in the user prompt as like, I want the data in this particular format. So this is how the agent's output will be. And once we go here, we can see, once we click on this action app, this also has got all the inputs. Once I click on it, you can see patient name has been passed, insure amount, outpatient, section number, allowed amount, explanation, everything has been passed as a input for the action app. So if I click on details, it will take me directly to the action app task. I can click on it, or else I can just refresh it here. Both will have the same effect. So if you see here, there is one unassigned task, and this one directly took me to the unassigned task. So I can assign it to myself. And once I click on it, the data which agent created as an output has been passed within our app task for the user for the validation. And if you see here, still the execution is going on, because we mentioned it as like execute and wait for that app action task. And once we click on this action, either one of it, approve or reject, the execution will be done from the agentic part itself. So this is how we can create a whole workflow within our orchestration within our agentic process. And you can play with other workflows, like there is API workflow, there is escalation app. It's same as like app, but it will invoke when there is a problem. Like as you asked, what will happen if there is a problem? Within an agent, you can have an escalation system. If something goes wrong, instead of putting it as a value, like within our agent, we mentioned it as like, if no value present, mention it as not found. Instead of that, you can, within the agent itself, you can mention, if no data found, just call this escalation app. In that scenario, we can route it to a user who can provide that value manually. So those kind of things can be done, and that can be added as an escalation here. Add escalation. You can create an escalation app, and you can add it here in the escalation system. So this is it with the whole workflow and the orchestration with the agentic process. Also, within this particular zip file, I have one more file called claimagent.uis. This is the whole solution which we have created during the whole like session what we had. So what you can do is like, can just go to Studio, and you can just click on import and choose that respective file, the UIS file, and it will automatically create that particular solution. Whatever we have created, the whole session, what we have created will automatically be created within this section. I already created that and saved it as an solution, so that you can use it for your reference. It has all the data what we have created. You can play with different values and arguments, how I passed, everything has been saved in the data manager. Everything has been saved in a format so that you can import it directly to your agent studio. And the way how you can extract and deploy your solution to other tenants and things is like, you can just click here and you can use this download solution option button. It will download this as an UIS file and you can import it to anything. And to publish it to Orchestrator, you can click on publish button here, and it will ask you to select the folder in which you want to select the tenant. If you have workspace, it will ask you to choose the workspace, or else if you have the orchestrator tenant, you can choose the orchestrator tenant and you can publish it. And the published solution will be available under your tenant section solutions. It won't be available under your packages. It will be available under your solution section. So this will be right here like this, and then you can, to deploy it, you will have an option called deploy. This one I have already deployed basically. This is taking time. Solution package created. Let me refresh it.
Check package only, I think.
Tell me under. Yeah, solutions and then packages. Under solution, you will have section called packages, where it will have that section for active. And you can click on here, and then you can click on deploy. It will ask you to choose the folder which you want to deploy. I can provide the deployment name, and you can choose any folder which you want to deploy. I'll be choosing this shared folder and I'll deploy it. And what deploy will actually do is like, it will create a separate folder inside the folder which you are choosing with all the resources you have used during the development. Say for example, we have an RPA workflow, we have an app created, we have an agent. Everything will be published inside your, if I see a link to existing, and then what was this? This is the document data. Let me choose this agent one under the claim agent, and then I'll deploy it. One more validation error. Here also it is asking me to use existing, the same context I'm using, and then deploying. Once I'm deploying it, once I deployed, it will create a separate folder within that shared folder. There it will have all the components which we have created under the solution. So if I expand it, shared, you will have that new folder created, claim agent one. And if I go to processes, you will see those things like agentic process is there, one app is there, and one RPA workflow is there. Everything will be automatically created under a single folder, and you will be good to start the execution. So this is all with the agentic process. If you have any queries, we can
Even
just.
storage buckets and index also go.
Yeah, that's what we have did it. Like when deploying it, it will ask you to choose either an existing storage bucket which is there in your any other folder, or you can create a new one.
So if
While deploying, it will ask you that validations.
If I'm deploying to another tenant of like UAT tenant or something, then my solution will go there directly, right?
No, you have to first create it inside the. You can't directly put it over there, right? You can just import it into your studio and then deploy it from there, and the folders will be available over there. You can export it in a UIS file.
And also, it also unattended mode only, right? So how
Yeah,
about
everything is serverless basically.
monitoring, and also we need to check for the logs or
Yeah, on the logs page only. When you are executing, you will have that jobs executing. There you can see the logs and how we can see in that output panel, right? Same way we can see it.
okay. In that area, it's showing like that is the issue panel. After that, showing like GitHub kind of things, right? So go to that master ones.
Master studio part.
No, just you created that claim agent, right? Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
So that issue panel after that it's showing GitHub kind of things, right? So there is
Issue
data
panel.
after that one.
Yeah, this is like change history basically. How many versions we have published,
Mhm.
what are all the changes that will be tracked
Is,
here in the change history page.
is that any way here directly we can integrate with the GitHub and push to CI/CD pipelines to?
I'm not sure on that.
So you'll have to deploy the package and like
Rahul.
just like normal scenario where we create the NuGet package, everything will be available, and from there you can just do your normal CI/CD. But Prikit, my question is, so we have done this for one file, right?
Mhm.
But we will have like thousands of file which we need to process. Let's say we are doing the claim and we have thousands of file which are coming, and we
Mhm.
have to process all those, not
Mhm.
like one file at a
Got it.
time.
Mhm.
So how are we gonna do that?
Yeah,
Since
the
till
thing is
now,
like,
yeah,
yeah, got it. The thing is like, say for example, what we currently doing is like we already have the file in the storage bucket.
right,
So in your use case, what can be done is like, say for example, your files are coming through a email or you are
hmm,
downloading it from a portal, right?
right,
So you can have an RPA workflow to download that file and put it into the storage bucket or wherever the storage you are having, you can have it over there, and you can
mm,
process it one by one within our uh, RPA workflow within the agentic process, and then you can delete once the thing is processed. You can delete it, or you can have a queue mechanism to track down which one is processed and which one is not processed. That can be done using an RPA workflow.
That
Like
means for
before
each.
downloading a storage bucket, you can have all these things inside a loop where
Okay.
right,
you will be downloading files one by one.
one by one, right, and
We no
then
need to create any loop separately for the downloading bucket, right? So
Before downloading itself, what we have created after downloading, processing, and then putting it into our app action, we can combine all these things in a single loop.
loop,
Above
yeah,
the loop, you will be having the files processed one by one.
downloaded, right?
okay, once
Eh,
once we process file one by one, we need to move some other storage bucket, or we can delete
Either
it.
you can do that or you can track it somewhere using a queue with the file name, like
Mhm.
whether it is processed or not, and then you can process it.
And Briquit, so till now, like we were doing all these process in a RE framework where we had
Mhm.
like a,
Got it.
extensive mechanism to handle the errors and all those queue things and everything. So
Mhm.
do we have something? I read somewhere that we will have agentic RE framework as well sometime later from the UiPath where it will have, pre-built component just like we have in the RE framework where we
So
would be able to.
currently we have within the RPA process itself, if you click on the tasks, right,
Mhm.
we have other actions, like we can still process the queue items basically. I
Mhm.
can show it here. Deleted.
Yes, I think because we can see in the left corner top,
Yeah,
I mean down, we
exactly.
can see
In
the
the
queues.
actions, if you choose it, it will give you options to process queues also. And
Mm.
here within the BPNM process, you can have that option to loop it inside. You can just drag and drop the loop from here to there, and then you can
Mhm.
have it in a loop. In between, you can have a conditional statement.
Okay.
All the things are available within the BPNM itself. Like
So if we are
same way.
right, so if we are doing the agentic, let's say where agentic is a 20% part of my whole process, we are still gonna do that with this new approach, right? Where we are designing with the BPMN and then invoking everything instead of using the previous things. Like going forward, can we
Yeah,
say
there is
that?
an activity you can directly call the agent. Like if your thing is like your workflow is already there and you want the specific
Mhm.
part to be done using the agent. Once you publish this, this will be published as a process in your orchestrator as a process as an agent.
The
Now
whole
what
whole process.
exactly? Yeah, the agent will be published as an agent process. Like if
Agent
what we
or
have
the whole agentic process are we talking
agentic
about?
process itself. Yeah,
Okay, so and
agentic
then we
process
can
itself.
call that agentic process from our using that activity. I think run
Exactly.
agent or something. There's activity, right?
Run agent is currently deprecated. The
Yeah, 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 yeah.
start
Start
job
job.
activity.
Start
Yeah.
job. Yeah, yeah, yeah. So I can combine like this whole process, agentic process, where I'm using, let's say, app and everything, and then I can use this as a run job within my classic
Exactly. Yeah.
workflow.
You
Okay.
can.
Okay. Got it. Thanks.
No problem.
And can we achieve this looping from the master itself, or we need to do the looping things from the
Yeah, from the
workflow?
master itself, we can do it. Like if you see here, this is just a chart basically. Like whatever you want to edit it, you can organize the connection. You can put one more loop around it. Those things are still possible. This is like a BPNM process, as I mentioned. It's like BPNM is just like a process definition workflow statement basically. Whatever you want to do with this, you can do it. You can still do that loopings. You can take decisions directly within the workflow itself, within the agentic process itself.
Okay.
So any other questions or anything? Perfect. I just pasted that file in the chat. Within the zip file, you'll have you'll have all the input files which we have discussed. Also the UIS file, and the input docs is also available there. I think Suhani will be able to give you that recording. You can just use this to play around with that whole agentic thing. Thank you so much.
Thanks.
Thank you.
Thank you for the session.
Thank you very much.
Thank you, everyone.
Thank you all. Bye.
Thank you so much.
Yes, thanks.